game, yo, they tricked us. So this is what fantastic racism looks like. Right here. Right? So fantastic racism is basically, you know, is basically when comics try to use monsters in place of minorities or whatever person they're trying to disparage, but more or less always most of the time it's black people or any other than Anglo-Saxon or whatever. So when you see Megan Thee Stallion twerking with She-Hulk, just understand that, you know, She-Hulk, that green monster, is kind of like that black woman in The Office. You know what I'm saying? She got super strength, she's super talented or whatever the case may be, but she's black, so she's other than. You know what I'm trying to say? They know the black woman in The Office is so talented, but she's other than. So I wanted to preface this conversation. With that statement, because I want y'all to understand that racism is very prevalent in the comic book industry. And, you know, I want y'all to understand the person that I'm speaking to before we dive deep into his statement of Italians and Latinos creating hip hop and being there when hip hop was created or whatever the case may be. First of all, let me be clear. Italians did not create hip hop. Latinos did not create hip hop, and they was not there when hip hop was created. They was not there the first 10 years. And I guess over the course of this little rewriting history series that I'm doing now for the rest of this month, because I see this is a reoccurring theme. This is not like a one-shot thing. This was a deliberate attempt to rewrite our history. This was a deliberate attempt to rewrite our history. This was a deliberate attempt to rewrite our history. And I don't give a damn if I gotta make 100 videos. We are going to find every perpetrator. We are going to find every one of these deplorable figures, every one of these deplorable tethers. That think, that feel the need to try to rewrite our history. That feels the need to try to lie to our kids, who feels the need to make critical race theory a thing, so our kids won't understand the truth, that they are embroiled in the system of white supremacy. That's the truth. And when you have brothers like Tariq Nasheed, who writes books like Foundational Black American Race Beta, which is the manual to escape racism in 2022 in modern America after the Great Reset. Yes, our good sister, wrote the ISIS papers. And that's a very great book. But Gen Z, they probably won't understand it. They wasn't raised like us millennials even, you know what I'm saying? And I forgot what the generation before me is. I think that's Gen X. Or the crack babies. You feel me? And I don't mean no disrespect by saying crack babies. It's just, you know, I was born in a crazy time. But y'all made it through. You feel me? But when you look at these generations that came before us, they had more fight in them, but they did not document the history. So now you have these Italians and stuff, Latinos running around trying to rewrite history. So when you speak about hip hop to these fake hipsters and hip hop connoisseurs, right? These fake, yeah, I studied hip hop, but I only studied the main narrative. And it's like, okay, that's cool. You know, you like hip hop, you want to participate. But why do you feel a need to come into our culture and change the history that has already been written? Why do you feel that need? So I goes on this brother's platform, and like I said, I've been on there before. I've worked with this guy before. Pretty cool dude, I guess. But like I said, the comic book industry is very racist. Which is why, you know, at this moment right now, I'm focused on building up my podcast brand, my broadcasting brand, you know, strengthening my industry connections and working on that. And I still got the comics and stuff, and I'm still going do the course on September 25th for the kids and stuff, because I want to get more people into it. Shout out to Swarthy Nerds. They know exactly what I'm talking about with the buck breaking and sort tap. I mean, listen, y'all gonna see it for yourself when I pull up this clip or whatever, because we gonna get into it. This right here is just the monologue intro real quick. We gonna get into it. And we gonna get deep. I'm gonna debunk everything he said. I got all the evidence right. I got everything ready for y'all. This ain't gonna be no Google. So everything's already loaded up in the tab. So it's ready to go. Sound check here. That's why I cut off the comments. I don't even need to see what y'all gonna say. Cause this right here, this what you call evergreen content. This gonna last forever. And if you have any evidence or any information that I could compile with my already thick pause sheets of research, if you have any websites, videos, or whatever the case may be, please send it over to me. Reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, you know, email, whatever, website, whatever, comment section, whatever. Let me know, so we can compile all this and put it in one place, so that we could direct our children to these YouTube, so they can know how to defend our culture and our honor. You understand? Because at the end of the day, this is our greatest contribution to our American legacy. Hip-hop is the savior of the black children. Hip-hop is the reason why they defunded the police. Hip-hop is the reason why Chicago is going to put in the Safety Act and take away cash bails. Hip-hop is the reason why they took away cash bails in all these places and trying these new ideas and this, that, and the third. Hip-hop is the reason why black people even have some form of disposable income. because the government was not trying to help us. They gave us some voting rights and told us get the F out of here. Once Martin Luther King said, yo, you know, we coming for housing, we coming for, you know, we need some money, we coming for our reparations. They killed our good brother. And then Jesse Jackson went and took Martin Luther King blood and, you know what I'm saying, put it on his clothes and stuff like that. Then went to Chicago and did an interview. It's facts right here. But I digress. So this white dude or whatever, you know, like I said, he's in the comic industry, you know what I'm saying? We both got a YouTube page. Now my page kind of blowing past him or whatever the case may be. I guess people tired of him telling lies. But, you know, he's in this racist comic industry. But racists never feel like they're racist. And I'm not going to say this guy is racist, but I will call him a suspected white supremacist. And if you feel after this investigation, the suspect, sixth element of hip hop, right? Think about this is what this dude's YouTube name is. Spewing this bullshit. This is why I had to do this video. And it took me a little minute to do it because, like, yo, damn, you know, I hate to do it to you, bro. I hate to do it to you. But we gotta speak the truth. And when I came up on your platform and I seen you telling lies and then the sister sitting right beside you co-signing your lies, I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna load it up. I'm gonna wait a little bit though. But let's go. You know what I'm saying? We waited long enough. We waited long enough. So, with that being said, we're gonna begin with exposing the racism in the comic industry while some more people load in, you know what I'm saying? People getting out of school and stuff like that. And then we're gonna get into his erroneous statements about Italians creating hip-hop, right? And then when I'm like, yo, dude, how could they have created hip-hop when everybody knows, like, the Italian mafia was, like, racist, like, and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was every Italian mafia movie is about them not, you know, kind of going up to Harlem and only selling drugs out there because that's not where they're at, where the black people at, whatever. So, like, how did they create hip hop? They wasn't like, they're not even into that type of music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Italians, Sicilians, they listen to their type of music. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with their music or nothing like that. That's their type of music. It's not even nowhere near. I don't even think their music have real drums in it. Maybe it does. Who the fuck knows? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, and then he doubled down. This motherfucker gonna tell me that even that was a lie. But listen, if y'all agree with me after this, man, y'all go to his motherfucking comment section and put WS, man. That's all. He ain't gonna know what the fuck. You're like, WS, what the fuck is that? But anyway, let's get into it, y'all. Definitely like great anime and stuff like that. You know, if you like Naruto, you won't like My Hero Academia. I think it's Japan.
I think it's different. I think it's way better. I don't even think, even if you don't like Naruto, you can.
This guy right here, yo, this dude's opinions.
First of all, this nigga's a contrarian. Like, damn, episode 3,789. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. This nigga's on Adderall for real. Like, what the fuck? 3,000 episodes, nigga. You got fucking you got more episodes than you got subscribers. Nigga got 3 episodes for every subscriber. What the fuck?
I know.
But yeah, he's like one of those like fake contrarian dudes.
I know my opinions are not popular. I know that. It's like, that's like, you'll never find nobody to agree with me on that. But here's the thing, I'm not really into anime. I'm not really into Naruto. I'm not really into Dragon Ball Z. I wasn't really into that. I only got into my.
Now, you're gonna find out that a lot of racist white people's not into anime because anime is not as racist as comic books, and it's based on the geographical locations that these animations are created. And even shout out to like Nigeria and Africa and stuff. There's like a lot of good animators like popping up out of Africa and stuff like that. You feel me? They don't have like a lot of great storylines, but you know they're coming up in that animation scene, and I would love to see it. You know what I'm trying to say? Even don't get it twisted. You know, tethers are tethers, but you know there are a lot of good African brothers and sisters stuck in the diaspora because they're on code. They don't want to leave their community in shambles, and they actually want to protect their neighborhood. You get what I'm trying to say? And they know if they go to America, their influence and their mindset, leaves that neighborhood, and it kind of puts the rest of the neighborhood in danger, right? When you don't have that level-headed person in your environment to kind of make those decisions, sometimes that could be the catalyst for your environment to kind of, part of my language, go to shit, but even worse, turn into chaos, like in all types of, death and destruction. But I digress. This dude says he don't like anime, or he don't really watch anime like that, but that's a common thing because of anime being from Japan, where Japan have way more respect for black people, right? Japan, and I want us to get off this this kind of like stereotypical all Asians are the same Asians. You get what I'm trying to say? Because they all come from like different like countries and states or whatever, whatever the case may be. So when I'm speaking about Japan, I don't want them to be grouped in with Chinese people, like this suspected white supremacist will do in this interview. He did a lot of things in this interview that showed me that white supremacy is taught in the household. And everything in Tariq Nasheed's book was demonstrated in this exact interview right here. Now, maybe he got caught slipping. Maybe, I told him last minute, I'm pulling up to the show, whatever, maybe that day he was on Adderall. Maybe he was on, whatever drugs he do, whatever narcotics he do. His friend Stu Dog or whatever the fuck that, it was another dude that used to be on the show when I first when I first was on the show. It was a black dude and this girl right here, the Sada girl, and him and Reno. But this episode when I came on, the Stu Dog guy wasn't there. So maybe without Stu Dog being there to kind of like to balance it out, kind of keep him from going off the cliff. As much as a bedwench this sister is, to some degree, she's gonna side with me and kind of let me get some of my points across. You get what I'm trying to say? A female is still a female at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially a black female, they got their own little slick ways of doing things and kind of, letting things slide or whatever the case may be. But I caught him lacking this day. And I want y'all to pay very close attention. If you have Tariq Nasheed's book, I want you to open it up right now, and I'm going to tell you which chapters to go to describe which activities that was written in the book he's exhibiting on screen. Let's go.
My Hero Academia, because of its sort of correlation with X-Men, and it's kind of like a superhero type anime, so that's kind of why I got to that particular anime. I'm familiar with Naruto, and I've watched Dragon Ball Z, and all that. I know it all. It's just not their fit.
You like comics more than anime, or like?
Yeah, I like comics more than anime. Yeah, I'm more of a.
See, I was setting them up right there.
Yeah. And whereas my son, who just turned 18, he's 100% anime. He barely fucks with comics. His whole wall is different mangas. He's got like volumes and volumes of manga. Everything is anime for him. So but yeah, I cover the comics, he covered the anime. So anything I don't know about anime, he knows. He's a
Why you think he's more into anime than comics?
because I think this generation is that way. I think anime has really blown up recently for this generation. Like when I was a kid, anime was movies. Like you had Ninja Scroll, you had Fist of the North Star, right? You had these movies, but there weren't really like any ongoing shows that were popular. Yeah. So like Dragon Ball Z and all that sort of came out a little later, and then only recently got very popular. Like Dragon Ball Z was popular enough, but now it's in Walmart, it's all over, it's everywhere. It's Dragon Ball Z. So anime just has really blown up, I think, with this generation. We just
also the quality.
It's gotten much better.
Yeah, and comics has kind of went downwards while anime has steadily gone up. I find myself more drawn to anime in terms of watching it rather than reading the newest comics, just because the story is a lot better. So
it's kind of
bullshit,
like superhero type anime. So that's kind of why I got to that particular anime. Now I'm familiar with Naruto and I've watched Dragon Ball Z and all that. I know it all. It's just not my favorite shit.
And let's be clear, dude don't even be knowing these things, right? This nigga some IGN reading ass nigga, but
yeah, I like comics.
But he do got like a lot of comics and stuff like that. Never purchased my comic. But this nigga got all the comics in the world.
Anime. Yeah, more.
You know, niggas don't purchase them black owned comics. When ain't no white people on the comic or whatever the case may be, you know, shout out to Rippaverse and all that. But he made sure he put that white woman on that cover. And you always gotta look. Even when you see a black person on the comic cover, the white person is always going to be higher above. Even if you look at this picture right here, Diamond, as you can see, like I'm underneath and stuff like that. Like this is all done purposely. These are all dog whistles that white people send to each other. You feel me? Let's go.
More of a comic guy.
I'm gonna be real. Don't think I'm gonna get videos like this every motherfucking week or every day. This is like once every 2-3 weeks or something like that. You feel me? Cause there's gonna be repercussions behind this shit. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And sidebar, real quick. Sidebar. And this is me playing around type shit. But y'all ever notice like every time you like go like violate and really, you know what I mean, put your foot down on white people, you get like a overdue credit card bill or some shit. You're like, what the fuck, huh? How the fuck? I owe PayPal $200. Yeah, you owed us from 1995. I'm like, what type of weirdo freaking Illuminati crap is this? Let's go.
Yeah. And whereas my son, who just turned 18, he's 100% anime. He barely fucks with comics.
Of course.
His whole wall is different mangas.
Because Gen Z is not as racist as Gen X. He was really raised and entrenched in the white supremacy. You see, with the internet, we was able to break through. People don't understand how big Spotify is to stopping racism. And one day I'm gonna pull up an interview on I had an interview with on Black Renaissance podcast on Spotify with this dude from the UK. And I was asking like, how did you get introduced to hip hop? And he said, yo, listen, we used to only have all of these white stations out here. When Spotify was when Spotify like became a thing, when we was introduced to Spotify, we was literally able to now listen to all this music from around the world. So the first thing everybody in his town did was go and listen to hip hop songs, old hip hop songs. Which is why a lot of older talent always say, you know, overseas they get a lot of money and stuff like that. You know, that's what keep their career alive and stuff like that. Because a lot of people overseas are just getting introduced to hip hop, so they're just coming up. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? And this dude right here, he's definitely a culture vulture. That's a fact. He may be a suspected white supremacist, but he's 100,000% a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? But you know, could I call him that, being that I participate in the comic book culture and white people created comic books? Or could we say that black people created comic books because we go back to Egypt and show the writings on the wall? You know what I'm saying? Tomato, tomato. But Gen Z is not into comic books because they clearly see the white supremacy baked into comics. And I started with this conversation just to show you that aspect, and then we're going to get to the Latino and I'm gonna break that all down in the mafia drink. We're gonna get heavy on that. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all gonna be here for a minute. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. So get comfortable.
Because he's got like volumes and volumes of manga. Everything is anime for him. So but yeah, I cover the comics, he covered the anime. So anything I don't know about anime, he knows.
Yeah, because y'all just know everything, right? I just know it's that I'm white. It's that I'm white and I say so bullshit. And if y'all probably peep, right, like I'm not subscribed to him no more. Like after this conversation, I had to unsubscribe, and I hope you unsubscribe from my motherfucking shit too. I don't even care. You won't be missed.
He's a
That is though. Like, why do you think he's one of the anime that
because I think this generation is that way. I think anime has really blown up recently for this generation. Like when I was a kid, anime was movies. Like you had Ninja Scroll, you had Fist of the North Star, right? You had these movies, but there weren't really like any ongoing shows.
Ninja Scroll and Fist of the North Star are two vulgar ass animes. Vulgar ass. When I say like vulgar, those animes would literally only be shown. Anyone had cable and stuff like that. It wasn't Cinemax. Was it Cinemax? What was the cable channel? If y'all know, put it in the chat. What was the cable channel back in like the 90s and stuff like that? That they would have old movies, but they would have like a lot of porn movies and stuff. Like they like after like 9-10 o'clock, like they had the porn just jumping crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that titty porn and stuff. Like they don't really show the vagina. Like they show like a little bit of like the pelvis and stuff like that, like the pelvis thrust porn. I guess that's what you want to call it, pelvis thrust porn. Like, are they even having sex in that porn? I don't even know. But that soft porn type of stuff. But I think it was Cinemax. Those are the only channels that would show Ninja Scroll and Fist of the North Star, and it would literally only come on like at like 10-11 o'clock. So the programming block that these television shows was placed in was the NSFW television block, which shows you how vulgar these animations were. Heavy on the blood, rape, freak, the R word, you know what I'm saying, like sexual assault and stuff like. I'm not say that. Let me not say that because I would be. Yeah, let me not say that because if they demonetize this, you know what I'm saying, I'm leave it up, but I am gonna be a little bit hurt. But it is what it is. So just kind of prefacing where his mindset is at. We're gonna dig into this dude. We're gonna dig into this dude. I'm sorry. I'm a cordial person. Anybody invite me to their show, I'm always gonna be cordial and respectful. I'm not here to take over your platform. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because you got a special way you want to talk to your audience. But I don't need my audience discovering this video. And don't get it twisted, even though I defended myself, you know what I mean, and the points not as much as I should have. You know, not as much as I would like to. But out of fear of being that aggressive black man, the angry black man, sometimes you have to be kind of docile and kind of just, you know, go with the flow. And I want all our black brothers to understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a war. This is a culture war. It's not about being all angry and aggressive and just going over the top. It's not about always making sure you win in that moment. You know, give things time, let things play out, you know what I'm saying? You know, see what it is, and then, you know, strike.
That were popular. Yeah. So like Dragon Ball Z and all that sort of came out a little later, and then only recently got very popular. Like Dragon Ball Z was popular enough, but now it's in Walmart. It's all over. It's everywhere. It's Dragon Ball Z. So anime just has really grown up, I think, with this generation. And we're just
also the quality.
It's gotten much better.
Yeah, and comics has kind of went downwards while anime has steadily gone up. I find myself more drawn to anime in terms of watching it rather than reading the newest comic. It's just because the story is a lot better. So, and it's not trying to push a certain message or anything like that. It's just focused on telling a good story. So,
any ongoing shows that were popular. Yeah. So like Dragon Ball Z and all that sort of came out a little later, and then only recently got very popular. Like Dragon Ball Z was popular enough, but now it's...
Now, y'all know that's bullshit. Dragon Ball Z was one of the most popular animes in the 90s. And it wasn't even popular for being an anime. Dragon Ball Z was just a popular cartoon. During the introduction of the internet, most of us would go online to get these pictures that a lot of people would just draw and upload all of these, like, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Goku pictures and stuff like that, bring them back to school. And you know, any of us millennials and stuff like that, born in the 90s, we know what's up. Go on AOL, you know what I'm saying? Go to those janky websites, you know what I'm saying? We'd be up in those janky ass websites, printing little whatever pictures. We'd go to the library for 30 minutes and try to print as much little freaking, you know, moms give us our lunch money, $3-4. We spending that on a copy machine card so that we could go and print out, you know, the Goku pictures and put them on our composition notebook and stuff like that. You feel me? Like, so I don't know what the heck this dude is talking about, but you gotta keep in mind, when Dragon Ball Z was really popping, this one he was really entrenched in white supremacist culture. This one he's learning about white supremacy. This way he's learning I'm white and I say so. This way I'm white and I say so. This way he's learning how to be deceptive. This way he's learning how to be manipulative. He may look Hispanic, but this is a Anglo-Saxon man right here. I remember some chick, I was speaking to some girl on the phone, and I'm talking about podcasts. Like, yeah, I seen one of your podcasts before and stuff like that. So I'm like, you explain to me. It's like, yeah, you was talking to like this Hispanic dude or whatever, and he was with like dudes with 2 black guys. I'm like, no, that guy's white. He's like, oh, you know what I mean, sidebar.
In Walmart, it's all over. It's everywhere.
Let me pull the shot back up, bro.
So anime just has really blown up, I think, with this generation. We're just
also the quality.
It's got
DJ Khaled did more for
yeah, and comics has kind of went downwards while
cannot
steadily gone up.
And that's what I want to really speak to this, you know, and I don't want to go too hard on the sister, but the content level has went down in comics. Miss, first of all, he's going to debunk that statement in itself, because Jonathan Hickman just put out one of the best X-Men stories ever. X-Men's on an incredible run. You know, with Krakoa, the sovereign mutant state, where X-Men, you know, they're no longer being targeted, and now they sell pharmaceuticals. Now X-Men is like fucking Percocet. You know, they selling like this little mutant Percocet or whatever in the X-Men comic books. You know, shout out to Jonathan Hickman, Jerry Duggan, and Benjamin Percy. Those are like the 3 writers I personally like that's writing that they write a bunch of different Marvel comics and stuff, but they wrote pretty great X-Men titles. So, you know, you go on eBay and, you know, grab those, or you could have went to my website, but now my website's kind of down. Maybe it's like for a couple days or whatever the case may be. But definitely trying to focus on this. But you could go to eBay and grab them up, or you could wait for my website to come back up, and I sell a whole bunch of you know, 2022 X-Men comic books for like $3, $2. I just want to get people into comics and just, you know, just being in the culture, because this is a different art form that we could use to help our kids make money. We have to get our kids in all of these industries, and this is why white supremacists like this don't support my comic books. This is why larger platforms don't support independent black owned comic books, because they want to have a monopoly on the comic book industry. And the comic book industry is almost like the heart and soul of Hollywood, because that's where a lot of these movie ideas kind of stem from, whether they're licensed out from comic books or they're kind of just like illegally kind of copywritten, if that makes sense. You know, basically someone to be inspired by the story and write a script loosely based on the comic, but not based on it enough that they would be sued and stuff like that. But as far as like the content going down or whatever the case may be, she's speaking about she's agreeing with him in the fact that she don't like Marvel having black superheroes, female superheroes. Like, she's all in on the Bedouins. Like, she's all in. Like, she's all in. You feel me? This is what she's going against right now. And I'm just gonna let it play.
Anime, in terms of watching it rather than reading the newest comic.
And thank you, Ken. No, this is definitely the think tank. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, man. In the beginning, I probably heard my neighbors and shit hating and all that. Like I told you, I live in a war zone, man. Like, niggas be shooting at the door, all types of wild shit, man. I'm telling y'all, it be going down, and I don't give a fuck. You heard? Fuck is he talking about, nigga? This the FBA way, nigga. If you scared, go to church, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We here. You can't do nothing to us that ain't already been done.
Story is a lot better.
Damn sure not making no stupid ass distractions in the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like buy a nigga window. The fuck out of here.
So,
Yeah.
and it's not trying to push a certain message or anything like that. It's just focused on telling you good stories. So,
Yeah.
That's a contradiction in itself. Every story has to push a good message. What are you talking about?
yeah, I think that's that too.
That's very true. Yep, 100%. Yeah, and you know and there's like streaming service.
And then you see how they like cosplaying and all that. He got the fucking Tribe Called Quest t-shirt. She got her little hip hop shirt. Like, he probably fucking her.
Now you got Crunchyroll, you got Funimation, and those streaming services, they've re-subbed or redubbed. So whereas, you know, remember how anime used to be very bad dubs, like whole conversations of fucking moaning, right? But they fixed that shit. So they literally redubbed the whole series. Like, I mean, that's Dragon Ball Z Kai is basically a remastering of Dragon Ball Z to make it more updated for the current generation, to not be like, this is fucking corny, this is stupid, like that's cringy. So now they fixed it.
So you don't think like anime and comics have like two different ways, and as Sada said, right, you know, they have better stories and stuff like that, of course. But you don't think they have like two different?
You always gotta try to like fake agree with the sister when you're in front of white people and shit. You could listen. They'll never try to have that black on black crime argument in front of white people, because that's what they try to do. You know what I'm saying? They try to be there and get y'all to have a little intellectual mandingo fight in front of them for their entertainment. Nah, even if you know the sister's wrong, even if you know the brother's wrong, just agree with them for the time being. And then after, you know what I'm saying, later on, you can let them know how you feel, pull them to the side, or make a video if you got a YouTube. Fuck it. That's what it's here for.
Ways of delivering the same message. And I want to break this down a little bit, right? Like, in anime, they tell a superhero story, right? You see how you see, you said, My Hero Academia is just like X-Men, right? You may not be familiar, but a lot of people see a lot of racism in X-Men. You know, it's been like a kind of low-key debate about different things.
Well, racism. Well, X-Men was based. So, Stan Lee created Professor X, modeled him after Martin Luther King, and Magneto was modeled after Malcolm X. So the Brotherhood.
Look at this fucking bad wench. Look at this bad wench though. Look at her. 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 Look at her.
Academia is just like X-Men, right? You may not be familiar, but a lot of people see a lot of racism in X-Men. You know, it's been like a kind of low-key debate about different things.
Well, racism. Well, X-Men was based. So, Stan Lee created Professor X, modeled him after Martin Luther King, and Magneto was modeled after Malcolm X. So, the Brotherhood was Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and
the Nation of Islam.
And Professor X was Martin Luther King.
Look at the bad ones though.
Movement, and so, that's been debunked, right?
Huh? No, it hasn't been debunked. Steve.
That Nation of Islam, that triggered my nigga. Don't play with Elijah. Don't play with Malcolm. Don't play with Farrakhan. I ain't Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying? I'm Nation of Gods and Earth's 5%ers, you know, a branch of the Islam, off the Nation of Islam tree. Shout out to Clarence 13X and all the Gods and Earths on 126th and 7th Avenue. Go there, tell them that Fleet sent you, you heard? They gonna get you right, get you enlightened, teach you all this symbolism. You know, even though they ain't disciplined Busta Rhymes yet, even though they did not discipline Busta Rhymes yet, but to some degree, we all know the Nation of Gods and Earths and the Nation of Islam, it's sort of kind of all lives matter now, and for a good reason. They was heavily targeted by the government, and only way for them to be able to survive and not be labeled a hate group was by letting these people in, or whatever the case may be. See, with FBA is different. You understand? Because it's a lineage. You can't just take I'm not sure, I don't want to even mess up the name of what Muslims call the oath that you got to take when you convert to Islam. But if you know, put it in the chat. You can't just take an oath and be a white man and become Nation of Islam. You can't just take an oath and be a Hispanic man and become Nation of Islam. You can't just take an oath and be an African with anti-black resentments and take the Nation of Islam oath and be practicing amongst great stand up, the best of the best that the black community has to offer. The most stand up individuals in the world. Excuse me. You can't do that with FBA. See, it's a lineage over here. Your bloodline gotta trace back. We ain't talking Roman Reigns over here. We talking about the real bloodline. See how you see how they like to talk about us without talking about us. But listen, we gonna break it down. It's the think tank for real. And I'm sorry if I'm screaming in your ear. I'm just a little. I get very, very, very passionate about these subjects, man. That's why, you know what I'm saying? I can't be doing these videos all the time. Because it's going to take me another 5 hours to come. You know how much apes I'm not how much apes. I mean, I'm going to have to buy apes. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to have to buy some Za to come down off this. Because I get really upset by these things, man. This should make you really want to go out and do something. And you know what we going to do? We're going to protest the BT Hip Hop Awards September 30th in Atlanta, Cobb Center Arena. We will be there 6 to 9 protesting. And if you want to protest September, I believe it's the 15th, but I mean, maybe gonna be like the 16th. I think I got a dentist appointment on the 15th. So, you know what I mean, I'm gonna give a whole day to creating the website. So September 15th or 16th, let's say September 16th, you go to the website and you register. You register to let me know that you're coming to protest so that I can have enough food, replenishments, water, and even a little McDonald's gift card so that you get something to eat after the protest. I was thinking about trying to just take everybody to dinner, but I'm not sure how much that would cost and stuff like that. So I think it would be easier if I just give like a $20 gift card. You know, I don't think more than 15, 20 people gonna come. A little $20 gift card, you know, that's cool. $400. You know, the goal is to raise $1,000. Shout out to everybody donating to the Cash App. Your name will be included on the special things video. And while we live stream and stuff like that, we're gonna figure out ways to incorporate and everyone who donates into the protest and the campaign and stuff like that, because every dollar counts, every person counts, every mind counts. Just us, just the people in the chat. And listen, I was about to do some real like fake shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I had to catch myself. You know what I'm saying? I was like, we got mad people. No, we got 9 people in the chat. All 9 of our minds with me makes 10. All 9 of our minds put together, focused on one subject, is very strong. Sends a revolting frequency out into the universe. Just the frequency of revolt changes the area around you. Earlier in this video, you may have heard a lot of loud noises in the background. Windows open. Just my voice in a rebellious state got people to react around me in all these weird and awkward ways that produce loud sounds that then penetrated through my microphone. You see how that works? Now, they may have been doing it trying to be hating and spiteful, whatever the case may be, but nevertheless, you did it. I don't care how you do it, you did it. You feel me? I don't care how you do it, you did it. And that's what all our minds put together do. Now, when you say Nation of Islam, that's triggering. because I see how y'all kind of infiltrated that movement, but it's still very strong and still some of the most honorable brothers. But you can't do that with FBA, and that's why people are so hard pressed against FBA right now. They don't even want to let us get off the ground, cause they know this gonna go to the touchdown. This is the ideology that's gonna change the world.
Stan Lee has said it out of his mouth.
No, I'm telling you, Stanley said it out of his mouth. I'm telling you.
The Nation of Islam.
Like, why do you think he's more into anime than comics?
Because I think this generation is that way. I think anime has really blown up recently for this generation. Like when I was a kid, anime was movies. Like you had Ninja Scroll, you had Fist of the North Star, right? You had these movies, but there weren't really like any ongoing shows that were popular. Yeah. So like Dragon Ball Z and all that sort of came out a little later, and then only recently got very popular. Like Dragon Ball Z was popular enough, but now it's in Walmart, it's all over, it's everywhere. It's Dragon Ball Z. So anime just has really blown up, I think, with this generation. And we're just
also the quality.
It's gotten much better.
Yeah, and comics has kind of went downwards while anime has steadily gone up. I find myself more drawn to anime in terms of watching it rather than reading the newest comics, just because the story is a lot better. So, and it's not trying to push a certain message or anything like that. It's just focused on telling a good story. So, I think that's that too.
That's very true. Yep, 100%. And you know and there's like streaming services now. You got Crunchyroll, you got Funimation, and those streaming services, they've resubbed or redubbed. So whereas, remember how anime used to be very bad dubs, like whole conversations of fucking moaning, right? But they fixed that shit. So they've literally redubbed the whole series. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's Dragon Ball Z Kai is basically a remastering of Dragon Ball Z to make it more update for the current generation, to not be like, this is fucking corny. This is stupid. Like, that's cringy. So now they fixed it.
So you don't think like anime and comics have like two different ways, and as Sada said, right, they have better stories and stuff like that, of course, but you don't think they have like two different ways of delivering the same message? And I want to break this down a little bit, right? Like in anime, they tell a superhero story, right? You see how you see you said My Hero Academia is just like X-Men, right? You may not be familiar, but a lot of people see a lot of racism in X-Men. It's kind of like kind of low-key debate about different things.
Well, racism. Well, X-Men was based. So Stan Lee created Professor X, modeled him after Martin Luther King, and Magneto was modeled after Malcolm X. So the Brotherhood was Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and X-Men and Professor X was Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement. And
that's been debunked, right?
Huh? No, it hasn't been debunked. Stan Lee has said it out of his mouth.
Stan Lee never said that.
I'm telling you,
he did say that. He said that.
You're gonna see it in the comments. But
this is on White and I Say So.
X-Men is modeled.
They're gonna see it in the comments. I'm telling you, you're gonna see it. They're gonna say it.
No, X-Men is modeled after the Civil Rights Movement. That's what it's based on. I mean, that's what the mutants are. It's an analogy for the fight of Black America.
That was a marketing plan, sir. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm telling you, like, what is the conversation?
I don't agree because I've heard Stanley say it himself and explain it and break it all down. That's where I'm getting this from, out of the mouth of the horse himself, not rhetoric, not videos, not something somebody else told me. I'm literally just taking it from the horse's mouth. So, I mean, you can interpret things in many ways, and maybe so. I'm just telling you what I've, in my knowledge, my information. And
all right, cool.
Now, let's debunk that. You see, when you on somebody's platform, you're gonna be respectful. I said what I said, whatever the case may be. But you see how he propositioned it. I heard it from the horse's mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, sorry. It came from the horse's mouth.
two different ways, and as
Sorry
Tyler
about
said,
that. You
like,
could,
you know, they have
let me
different
pause this
services.
real quick. Can y'all hear it good now? Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Hold on, because sometimes this volume be messing up. Came from the horse's mouth. Sorry about that. You could. Let me. Should I just turn off the music? Period. So I could turn it off. You know what I'm saying? See, I won't even hear it and stuff like that. Yo, King Kunta, that's good. That's good, bro. My man got Kendrick Lamar name. Shout out to K Dot. But let me know if that's better. Let me see. Could I have like a little something like that? Is that good? Can somebody give me like a 1 in the chat? Come on, man. Now y'all gonna have to interact, man. God damn it. Somebody let me know. This video ain't playing until I know is the sound good. Put Gucci. Alright, thank you. There we go. Now you continue. Thank you, King Kunta.
Yeah, of course. But you don't think they have?
I'm not even gonna lie. This is my first time ever doing that, man. Shout out, y'all witnessing history right now. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Shout out to everybody showing up, man.
Like two different ways of delivering the same message, and I want to break this down a little bit, right? Like in anime, they tell a superhero story, right? You see how you said My Hero Academia is just like X-Men, right? You may not be familiar, but a lot of people see a lot of racism in X-Men. You know, it's been like a kind of low-key debate about different things.
Well, racism. Well, X-Men was based. So, Stan Lee created Professor X, modeled him after Martin Luther King, and Magneto was modeled after Malcolm X. So, the Brotherhood was Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and X-Men and Professor X was Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement. And so,
that's been debunked, right?
Huh? No, it hasn't been debunked. Stan Lee has said it out of his mouth.
Niggas about to say Steve Jobs. Now, actually, Stan Lee didn't base Marvel's on Professor X and Magneto off of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. What part of MLK's nonviolent philosophy do you not understand? Now, before I get into this article right here, let me help y'all explain something, right? Now, I was actually doing a book on racism in comics, but I kind of paused that to do this curriculum I'm doing about teaching comics and stuff. I'm gonna upload it on YouTube now that I'm monetized or whatever. So it's gonna be free for everybody. Y'all can watch it, teaching people how to write comics, show it to your kids, and just the terminology. You don't have to know how to draw to write comics. As long as you have a great story to tell and you know how to communicate with the artist, you can outsource it. Overseas, there's a lot of people in China that'll draw the comics for pennies on a dollar. You know, you have Amazon Turks, I believe that's what it's called, and it's like 0.02 cents to pay people online to like promote your stuff. There's so much different, like Fiverr and stuff like that. There's so much different ways for you to do things, without actually having any talent. And this is why it is so important that black people get access to capital, because a lot of these Anglo-Saxon white people are not as talented as you think. They just have the money to pay people in China to do it. They have money to pay Mexicans to do it. They have money to pay, Africans to do it. And the sickest thing about it is, the African, the Asian, and the Mexican, they love being underpaid. As long as they're being underpaid by the white man. But they hate black authority. So in my comic book course, I'm going to speak on all of those things, when you're dealing with animators, when you're dealing with comic book writers, when you're dealing with colorists, and not colorists as in people who exhibit and I guess project or participate in colorism. No, like colorists, like painters, the people who color your comic book and stuff like that. It's a team of individuals that come together like a movie set to put together a comic. When I was doing my book, Racism in Comics, or whatever the case may be, which, like I said, like I canceled my project. I canceled that book to do the course. I researched a lot of these things, and I purchased a book. It's somewhere in my living room right now. I can't find it, but it's somewhere out there. And I didn't want to keep looking for it before making this video. And a brother said something that was very deep. He said, how in the world could the X-Men be some type of metaphor for black people when literally all of these people are middle-class white people. Think about Cyclops. If Cyclops put on his glasses and walked through Central Park, Cyclops would be a man with white privilege. Nobody gonna say, oh my God, look at that mutant, oh my God. But blackness, you can't cover that. I mean, Jamaicans have tried. You know what I'm saying? They done cake soap until they can't cake soap no more. But you cannot wash away your blackness. You cannot cover your black. I mean, unless you like Mystique, you know, maybe. But no, because Mystique was like the only mutant that was actually like all blue, and then she could change. But that's also fantastic racism, and that's why I started the video with fantastic racism. You know, when you use creatures and other aspects, other people, to tell a story, right? Fantastic racism is a trope. Now, I brought this one up just so you could kind of see a picture, right? But this next article actually goes more in detail with it, like for it to be easily like recognized and stuff. Like it's a subset of the old trick with the thorny issues, whatever. Jesus freaking Christ. The metaphor, instead of having the hero encounter racism between, say, whites, blacks, and Americans in the Deep South, or between an ethnic Czech and Roma in Czech Republic, or between the Ainu and the Japanese, or any other set of real-world groups, they encounter racism between two-headed aliens and three-headed aliens, or between elves and dwarves, or between werewolves and vampires, witches and wizards, humans and superhumans, humans and intelligent robots, or robots and robots. Note that this can also cover other types of prejudice, anti-homosexual sentiment, religious differences, and so on. So you see what I mean? You feel me? This has been a common trope in comics. So when y'all understand that, right? When y'all understand what fantastic racism is, and I mean that's a weird name, but white people have all these like y'all know how psychology. This is a think tank. All of us are smart people here. Yeah, we all know when we done read some Plato, some what's that dude named Freud and all that. You know what I'm saying, and all these other like little philosophers. They be having all types of theories and all types of weird words for their theories. So fantastic racism is just like, so because when I say it, like fantastic racism, what the heck? Like, dude, what the heck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that should just sound weird. But that's what it's called, when they use monsters in place of black people. So mutants was basically another form of fantastic racism, whatever the case may be. And Stan Lee was a white supremacist. That is a fact. You know what I'm saying? That it's not a debate. He was just a liberal white supremacist. That's all. Anyway, X-Men, actually Stan Lee didn't base the Marvels on Magneto and all that good stuff. Now, like I said before, if Cyclops walked through the park with his glasses on, he would just be a middle-class white man. Despite what a legion of now grown-up X-Men cartoon and comic fans of the early 1990s have come to believe, and what Screen Rant erroneously claimed as a verified fact. Like, look at this. Look at what I'm White and I Say So do. And this is why, if you have not picked up Tariq Nasheed's book, it is very important that you do so. It is very important that you do so. Because you have to understand the system of white supremacy to understand this. Because like Neely Fuller Jr. said, if you don't understand white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. If you don't understand the system of white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. If you do not understand the system of white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. Because you will understand there are no rules. You will understand that law is just different precedent set at the time. Look at what they're about to do to crime in Chicago. They're about to make second degree murder damn near legal. With no cash bail. Like this. These things are not set in stone. The winners make the rules. And when FBA finally win, we will make the rules too. I want y'all to understand that. I want y'all to understand that. And when FBA set the rules, guess what? Like the honorable brother Elijah Muhammad once said, the black man is honest and compassionate by nature. The blue-eyed white devil is filled with malice. So when the foundational black American is running things, we will make the world a better place for even the tethers that disliked us. We will make the world a better place for even the Anglo-Saxon that enslaved us. We will make the world a better place for the Chinese man that overcharged our African brothers and sisters. We will make the world a better place for the Britons that took our Jamaican parties away for the next 11 to 10 days. We don't give a damn about Queen Elizabeth. Only queen I know is Nicki Minaj. But I digress. What Screen Rant erroneously claimed as a verified fact, which is like Tariq Nasheed say, I'm white and I say so. They'll tell you a lie. Spin it as a fact. Stan Lee, the co-creator of Marvel's Uncanny X-Men, didn't base the creation of Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Yeah, sorry to break it to you, quote-unquote, true believers. Now, true believers is the term that Stan Lee has given to his Marvel Comics fan base to make them feel like they're in the know. They're the truth guys. We're the good guys. We're so ahead of the curve, you know? But they always been a part of the agenda. You know what I'm saying? So what, you're ahead of the curve to be a part of the agenda? Am I going around the block to get shot type shit? You feel me? Yeah, sorry to break it to you, true believers, but it wasn't true. Now, this is somebody, you know, writing the tweet in July 2014. Magneto was based on Malcolm X, Professor, all that bull crap that people would, you know, just promote for free. But they won't promote your black comic book. They'll promote everything else. But, you know what I'm saying? They'll promote everything that's already successful. But I digress. The revelation may be super sour candy for millennials and others who have come to accept this post-90s pop culture myth as geek gospel. But it must be reported that any similarities between the 1960s civil and human rights icon and the mutant leaders of powerful rival factions in the pages of X-Men comics is purely coincidental. Okay, it was actually intentional. It just wasn't in any way the work of Stan Lee. Bingo. So that already debunks what he said when he said he heard it out of Stan Lee's mouth. That's what this brother just said, right? Am I mistaken? Is that not what he said? I'll keep going to the wrong video. Is that not what he said? Let me play this for this Adderall head.
No, Google it. I'm telling you, Stanley said that. No, I'm telling you,
he did say it. He said that.
But you're gonna see it in the comments. But that's neither here nor there. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You probably bought your freaking followers. You don't have no comments. That's why you're in a delusional state with your Adderall. And I have nothing against Adderall. But I have something against liars who take Adderall. Because now your lie is on like 1,000. You feel me? Like, dude, you gotta chill. Come back to reality, bro. And this is me bringing you back to reality. Gave you a nice little 2 weeks, man. You know? And what this fool do? He doubles down to my motherfucking DM talking about, well, Stan Lee said what he did, but guess what? The Italian mafia wasn't racist because Michael Francis said it in this interview right here. Okay, we're going to get to that. Let me pace myself. I told y'all we going to be here. We not going to get up out of here till we wax the floor with this white ball. You heard me? And we just having fun, man. This YouTube, man. Intellectual boxing. That's all this is. Intellectual boxing. That's still a homie. Shout out to Reno and Sada. You know what I'm saying? That's probably her baby father. Anyway, I digress. Okay, it was intentional. It just wasn't any work of Stan Lee. Echoes of the stark ideological differences that once existed between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X that have been woven into the X-Men comics mythos is an outgrowth of the stories written not by Stan Lee at the height of the African-American civil rights movement, as the legend goes. I repeat, because I probably said that too fast. Echoes of the stark ideological differences that once existed between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X that have been woven into X-Men comic mythos is an outgrowth of the stories written not by Stan Lee. At the height of the African American civil rights movement, as goes the legend, but later storytellers who wrote stories for the X-Men in the 1980s and 1990s. Now, this cover right here is the original X-Men. Do you see a black brother on this cover? Cause I don't see none. I don't see not one black person. And now we're going to get into why this comic is worth so much money. Oh man, y'all don't even know what y'all got yourself into by clicking on this video today. Y'all ain't even, y'all wasn't ready for this. Y'all wasn't, but it's the 12th. You got, you know what I'm saying? You know, certain days have symbolic meaning. That's why we can connect to the soul. And right now, y'all giving me the strength to fight this suspected white supremacist. But I digress. Now we're going to tell you why these comics are worth so much money. Because the trick is, these white supremacists like to go back into time. They time travelers. They like to go back into time and read that old racism. That 1962 pure racism. Oh, when the writers could write what they feel and say what they want, boy. Oh, child. Yeah, you might get the reprint, but they mixed up a couple of words. They switched this around, took out that little word bubble. When you go buy that real thing for $30,000 of money made by our ancestors, free labor, that they never was paid for, that we never was compensated for, that they actively redlined and taped us out. They intentionally kept us out the paint, kept us out of any type of economic prosperity until we created hip hop, and now they're trying to subliminally take this away from us because they've seen what it has done for our culture, for our people, for our income, for our wallets, for our confidence, for our spirit, for our children. They walk with their head held high as they dance and twerk now. I understand their dances and twerks may be a little bit disrespectful, a little bit degrading. But the positive aspect is, it gives that little girl confidence that she may not have had 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, when they had all this propaganda in their face. When they would just be able to steal our creations without saying anything. So when you look at these people paying $100,000, $50,000 for an old shriveled up X-Men comic, an old shriveled up Superman comic for the 1930s or 40s, those comics are written in the prime white supremacist monster. It literally will take you. Man, I'm not even gonna get that deep. I'm going to. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. My fault. Anyway, created by writer Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, the beloved mutants was born with powers and abilities. 1963. Since X-Men's first appearance, the mutant band has expanded exponentially. For a while, in fact, it almost seemed as though Marvel, basically, he's talking about how, like, in the beginning, X-Men wasn't really working good and stuff like that. They went through different writers and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And the shit wasn't really popping off or whatever. With issue 55, Roy Thomas returned and has joined by issue issue 60. That's when they canceled it or something like that. Like after issue 63, Adams exited the book. Issue 66, written by Thomas and drawn by Sal Buscema. These are two comic legends, by the way. With Wanda being the very last X-Men story Marvel published for a while. Well, for about half a decade. Then, due to poor sale performance, Marvel finally gave X-Men another shot. 1970, they was doing like a bunch of little X-Men titles, writing old like titles over and stuff like that, doing bullshit, whatever the case may be. That remained the debased state of X-Men. That basically like the low value of X-Men. It was like in the gutter, whatever the case may be, for the next 5 years until the spring of 1975. That's when something unexpected happened. Marvel's all new, all different X-Men. Now this 1975 is the introduction of Storm. That's when they introduced Storm to the X-Men. They put the Russian guy, they put Wolverine, they put Nightcrawler, they put the Indian guy, they put everybody in this motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. They was on some globalism shit. Fuck that. We got everybody. You feel me? They see that that American culture is more accepting of all these other nationalities. So, instead of, putting a black person, you gotta throw everybody in the mix type shit. You feel me? But keep in mind, there's always gonna be a white person above that person on the cover. So if you look, even though they're painted blue, there is white people above that sister. In May 1975, a reboot of Marvel's Mutant Super Team hit stores in the form of Giant X-Men #1. This sense-shattering first issue offered kids a brand new spanking, Editor Lean Wayne and David Cochran made up a creative team, handled the second genesis of X-Men under their... Jesus Christ. I ain't gonna lie. Let me hurry up and go through this shit, because I ain't gonna lie. I done been on this X-Men shit a little bit too long. We gonna jump right into this Latino shit. Right after this little interview, whatever, I'm going right into the Latino shit, because I ain't gonna lie. I didn't realize I was on... Jesus Christ. Even I already said it was gonna be... It's definitely gonna be at least 2 hours and a half. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I told you I'm gonna be here for a minute. But within the next 5 minutes, we're gonna jump right into the Latino joint, and we're gonna get to the mafia. We're gonna get to everything. And we're gonna speed through it. You feel me? That's why I'm speed through this right here. Bang. 2 months later, August 1975, Marvel did a reprint, all new X-Men, Mutant Tales, and editor Lean Wayne, I think his name was. He wrote whatever. Wisely handed off to storytelling duties to the enthusiastic writer who promptly began shaping the X-Men into the characters that fans across the globe know and heart today. X-Men 94. Now this is the Chris Claremont dude. X-Men 94. Whatever. The Magneto, written by Stanley in 1960s, was very much a mutant supremacist, aka a white supremacist. He was a villain in the traditional comic book sense of good versus evil. And it's not for nothing Stanley cast Magneto as a leader of whatever. It was Chris Claremont who gave Magneto an extreme makeover in the early 1980s and remade him the sympathetic villain and semi-noble, or whatever the case may be. Claremont also rewrote Professor X and Magneto as formerly having been friends. It was Claremont who rooted X-Men's Xavier's dream, and it was Chris Claremont who rooted Xavier's dream of humans and genetically evolved mutants peacefully coexisting in the more iconic dream of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. His introductions in X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills. Now he also wrote the word nigga in that comic. Chris Claremont is a whole nother clown. I already did a video on him. Check the archives. He's in there. He's a super clown, super bigot, and he just had a whole rant like 3 weeks ago, going crazy. Claremont also whatever. That's nonsense. Right there. That's just fucking a whole bunch of nonsense. Now, he just go through the story or whatever. In 1991, after Claremont made a shocking departure from Marvel, whatever the case may be, a bunch of other X-Men writers started like basically picking up the slack or whatever, started basically following his pattern. And that's when Fabian Nightshade made Dreams Fade Dreamed. Nitro also did Dreams Die. Scott Lobdell did I Had a Dream. And Joe Kelly did a Dream Reborn. And though the ideological underpinnings of Malcolm X would simmer just beneath the surface of X-Men comics in the 90s, it was really Bryan Singer, the director of the live-action X-Men movie released in July of 2000, who turned the knob on the allegory up to 11. This happened when when X famed By Any Means Necessary speech delivered at Harlem's Audubon Ballroom echoed from the screen. The cleverly placed phrase would make faithful believers of the modern creation myth that Magneto and Professor X even more convinced that Stan Lee's comic book co-creation had actually been patterned from the very start after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., but they aren't. In later years, some would even find themselves inspired, whatever, and all this other super nonsense. But yeah, and this is the line that he's talking about right here. I hope this shit play. If not, I think we'll probably have an ad on this shit. So. How the fuck is this shit so low? So we got that lie out the way.
X-Men is definitely X-Men is modeled
You're
after.
gonna see it in the comments. I'm telling you, you're gonna see it. They're gonna tell you.
No, X-Men is modeled after the Civil Rights Movement. That's what it's based on. I mean, that's what the mutants are. It's an analogy for the plight of Black America. I mean, that's
that was a marketing plan, sir. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm telling you, like, what is the conversation?
I don't agree. I don't agree because I've heard Stanley say it himself. And
Stanley never said
break
that.
it all down. That's where I'm getting this from, out of the mouth of the horse himself, not rhetoric.
That's
not
a lie.
Videos, not something somebody else told me. I'm literally just taking it from the horse's mouth. So I mean, you can interpret things in many ways, and maybe so. I'm just telling you what I've in my knowledge, my information.
That's a lie.
As a reader of the comic, you can plainly see. You can see it. I mean, you can see it.
So hypothetically, right?
Humans would be white people and mutants would be black people. It's, I mean, you can read it in the comic. You don't even have to.
My Hero Academia, whatever they gave me, right, as an anime. It's not as like covertly racist as X-Men comics now. Kids,
I think X-Men comics are not covertly racist. I think they're covertly anti-racist. I think they're covertly for the people. That's what I think X-Men secretly are, for the people. I think it's disguised as superheroes and monsters and all of that, but what it's really telling you is oppression,
you ever heard of Fantastic
human
Racism?
rights. Huh?
You ever heard of Fantastic Racism?
Mm-mm.
When comic writers use monsters as analogies for black people to make it like, since you can't really speak negatively about black people, you just
they're using monsters as analogies for white people in the case of X-Men. Like you have the what's their
because
name?
middle class white Americans are black people, right? Middle class white Americans with superpowers are black people. Like by Stanley's definition, that wouldn't make sense. What I'm trying to tell you, like Stanley literally.
No, he's saying that humans in the X-Men, the humans that hate the mutants and they're scared of the mutants and they fear the mutants' power and they fear their ability, and so because of what they fear,
they fear our
that
power.
Whole thing is the analogy of what white America has done with black America. That's what it's
Cyclops. So if Cyclops walked through Central Park with his glasses on, would anybody know he's a mutant?
No. You see, but you're talking about, but there's a lot of mutants. There's a lot of mutants that can't hide how they look.
It's not like
Just like no. All right, but just like some black people, like what about the black people that quote unquote they're passing as white? So of course there are mutants that can hide the fact that they're a mutant, just like there are technically octoroon and black people that can hide the fact that they're black. But
what, nigga?
most mutants
what is this nigga
can't
talking
hide
about?
the fact they're mutant because they're purple and they got horns or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like most mutants are physically obviously mutants and they can't hide it. Look at Beast; he's blue and furry. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Beast could change back into a regular person. In issue 1, that person that's swinging, that's Beast.
You're right. Sure, there are some Cyclops characters.
Beast did not turn blue until down the line in the X-Men comic.
Just like myself, I am the way I am. I grew up in the black community. I live in the black community. My wife. But if what I'm my point.
Now you about to watch white supremacy at its finest right before I switch out. Cause he's about to mute me. He mutes me.
My point is that if
clown ass nigga.
Slade is my moderator.
Fuck your point.
Yeah,
I'm talking mad spicy after the fact, right?
Gotta block somebody up there. I can't even see what's on YouTube.
So now we about to get into the Latino Italians and hip hop conversation right now.
Somebody acting a damn fool. I don't know. Maybe Slade ain't here.
Nah, I don't got. I probably got to.
Slade is Deathstroke. Slade
Like,
is the real name of
I'm not
Deathstroke
gonna lie,
and
I'm not focused on like
Batman.
not, like the audience, because you know, like you gotta have, you know, your opinion. You gotta know what you want to say. You know, and everybody gonna react. You know, because they don't really. Everybody gonna react based on their perspective, and you know they don't understand. You know. And I don't want to go off into like a whole different tangent, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, because,
Right.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? So you don't ever let like the comments and all that. Don't ever let like, you know what I'm saying, the live chat people.
Oh, never that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if that get to you, then you just the wrong. You shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
Yeah, this situation is like once a blue moon.
Very rare. Yeah, very rare.
I'm going through a situation with Latin hip hop and stuff like that with Fat Joe and all that. I posted a video, Crazy Legs. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say what. Let's talk about that. You had something you really wanted to talk about.
Oh.
Yes.
Alright. So are you familiar with
No, I don't know idea what you're talking about. So you break it down. To us.
I'll break it up from the beginning. Alright, cool. Could I share? I think I could share the screen on this, right? Let me see something. All right. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send the file over so y'all can see the first initial like.
If you email me something, I can share it with people. I can show it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Slade. Hit him with that Deathstroke keystroke.
As I'm getting this together and all that right here. So,
you know,
basically, it's a show called Euphoria on HBO.
Yeah, I watch Euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think I watched like the first episode, but I didn't follow it.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, somebody basically it was like it's probably not for you.
Shout out to the person that just purchased my item on eBay too.
That's a good way to summarize it.
I mean,
gotta have those hustles.
It's like a kind of like a generation.
I think it's like for young kids, right? It's for young kids. It's for younger kids, maybe like teens, maybe.
I would argue maybe
that's the target audience. But Drake, I think like that's like Drake and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's
I know
it's
like
Skins, but watered down. Skins, but watered down. That's it's like that.
Okay. Yeah. Like drugs and sex and teenage debauchery. Yeah.
Wait, there's a show called Sin.
No. Skins.
Oh, Sin. Oh. Alright, so yeah, right. So it's just like show whatever. It's like some little like white high school show, whatever the case may be. And they're the people on the show. All right, so I'm emailing this because I can't.
Now I emailed it to him, and nigga act like he didn't get the email and all that. That's when I first realized this nigga was like a super liar. I mean, I realized something between a whole different incident, but that's neither here nor there. But this is what I was speaking about.
Yeah,
more or less. Matter of fact, Beach Boy, you know what? We're gonna do. I'm emailing you Euphoria stuff or whatever. Boom. I'm gonna speak on the Latin hip hop situation.
Yeah, the Latin hip hop. That's what we want to talk about. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, let's start from the beginning. Boom. Fat Joe. Let's rewind a little bit. Busta Rhymes said that Caribbeans created hip hop. Now, no, Kool Herc is not the creator of hip hop, but he is like
the pioneer, the first one to do the part and break beats.
He's like credited with it, you know what I'm saying? Like because he kind of legitimized it. He made sure that everybody had a place to go to. He had the big speakers,
Yeah, he did the rec party. He started playing the break beats and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. But there's other DJs before him was playing break beats and stuff.
Right.
Now keep in mind, right? The name of this channel is Sixth Element of Hip Hop. So this is supposed to be like one of those great conversations that he could actually have a conversation on, right or wrong. You feel me? Like if we talking about if the name of your channel is hip hop, I got on these hip hop t-shirts and all this, and now y'all about to tell me some shit that clearly shows me y'all don't know about hip hop. And that's why I said he's a suspected white supremacist, but for 100,000% fact he's a culture vulture because he does not know hip hop for shit. Talking this bullshit.
Right, but they just didn't get that publicity and all that. With that 1520 Sedgwick and the flyers and all of that, and it was actually some girls' party, like a back to school party and shit. That was the first. That's when they credit as the first jam, as Kool Herc's first jam. But obviously it wasn't even his first jam. It definitely wasn't the first part jam, and it was other DJs doing it. But and it was Latinos out there.
Yeah,
It was Latinos out there.
right. All right, so cool, right?
Italians
Now-
out there too.
You see, like I tried to just let the nigga say what he said and go past it. I you know what I'm saying? I tried to be on something like, yo, you know what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me not even be on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? I try to just, you know, kind of, you know what I'm saying? You know when you being cordial, like, hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I already had this conversation online. Then this nigga goes into Italian. Now, Latinos was there. We all know that they wasn't there. We done debunked all that, whatever the case may be, right? But I just want to show y'all something real quick. I want to just show y'all something, you know. And I'm gonna do a separate video on this, but you know, since y'all here rocking out with me and all that, man, I'm gonna give it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna throw all this in here. F it. Y'all rocking out. I'm gonna give y'all the best possible show I could give y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for y'all, straight like that. I work for y'all. I ain't no boss. I'm a worker. I'm the nigga that sit here and make sure none of us get screwed over with none of these lies by none of these liars. Period. But he said, oh, Latinos was there, whatever the case may be, right? Now, cool. This picture right here, and it was not there, but just cool, whatever. We're gonna push that to the side for right now. This picture is taken in like the early 90s, right? So now, if you're gonna say that Latinos was there in the beginning of hip hop, now first of all, they're saying that Latinos helped create or whatever, whatever, cool, boom, boom. And then Latinos did not help create it, because I keep saying, let me stop saying that, because I always be like, whatever, cool, just like go off and like switch that subject.